folks, welcome to class. Hope you're all doing well. We're going to use our foam rollers for the first little section of our class. So if you want to roll yourself out a little bit more before we kick off, just stop the video and roll yourself out a little bit more. Otherwise, if you haven't got a roll, it doesn't matter. You can just do what we're going to do today on the mat instead. That's perfectly fine. We are going to start lying down on two of our rollers. So hips on one end, head on the other. Quick reminder before we kick off, just to make sure that your space is safe. So just check everything around you, make sure that there's nothing going to hurt yourself on or run into as we go along. Listen to your bodies. So if there's something that I ask you to do that you know that is not right for your body today, then you're just going to leave it out. It won't be very long before we pass on through that section. So just leave that bit out and it won't be long. Okay, if you're ready to go, come with me and lie on your roller. Otherwise, feel free to just stop the video. Remember, these videos are yours for 7 days. So you can do this class as many times as you like through those 7 days. So remember that, folks. Don't need to do it as many times as you like, but you can. Okay, coming to lie on your roller. So you're going to wriggle yourself down. You're going to put your head on one end and your hips on the other end. If you prefer to be on your mat, perfectly fine. Just have a little thought process about your alignment. So you should have your knees in line with your hip bones and your second toes in line with your knees. So that's the lower body alignment. Upper body alignment, we should have chin up off of our chest, gaze to the ceiling, nice little gap between our chin and our chest. I want to start you in your goalpost position. If goalpost isn't right for you today, then feel free to just have your arms down by your side. The idea of the goalpost is it gives you that nice stretch through the front of your pecs. So you should feel nice opening and stretch through the front of your chest here. If you can't feel it, just wriggle your arms around a bit. You'll find a spot where you do feel it. Your arms might come with the waist, elbows further into waistline, or your arms might come up further by your ears. And in this position, we're just going to breathe. We're going to take some nice big deep breaths. We're going to breathe in through our nose, and we're going to breathe out through our mouth. And as you take those nice big deep breaths for me, you're using your full lung capacity. So you're going to let as much air into your lungs as you can, and you're going to let all that air out. So by breathing in through your nose acts as a filter. By breathing out through your mouth, you're able to expel all the air out of your lungs that you can. We're going to do 2 more breaths like that. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. 1 more breath pattern for me. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, we're going to come to some diaphragmatic breathing. So bring one hand, rest it on the bottom of your rib cage and put your other hand on your belly for me. So you're going to breathe with your bellies, folks. You're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe in, you're going to feel your belly gently lifting up underneath your hand. And as you breathe out, you're going to feel that belly just gently sinking back down. So you breathe in and you feel your belly lifting. And you breathe out and you feel that belly dropping. So you're just going to breathe in your own time here. The movement you're feeling underneath your hand is your internal organs being pushed around. So they're just getting a nice little massage. You'll feel that happening underneath your hand. Your diaphragm's connected to your pelvic floor. So as you take those nice big deep breaths, your pelvic floor is lifting and lowering in conjunction with your diaphragm. The two work in harmony. So if you want to strengthen your pelvic floor, practice your diaphragmatic breathing. We're going to do 2 more breaths. Big deep breath in. Feel that belly lift. And then exhale to let that air out. 1 more breath pattern for me. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're going to stay on our rollers and we're going to do our arm arcs. If you prefer to be on the mat, that's fine. If you're on the mat, that's perfectly fine as well. First thing you're going to think about is your rib to hip distance. So currently there's a gap between your ribs and your pelvis. I want you to maintain that gap the same size. I don't want you to let that gap get any bigger. Right now, there's a little arch underneath your back. You can literally slide your fingers underneath your back and you'll feel a little arch. I want you to keep that arch perfectly still. No movement in it. It's not going to get bigger. It's not going to get smaller. Arms down by your side. Reach your fingers right down towards your toes. Breathing. Take a breath in and breathe out to float both of your arms straight to the ceiling. Nice long arms for me. And then bring them back down to your mat. Arms are staying straight. Inhale first, exhale, bring those arms to the ceiling and then bring them all the way down. We're going to do 2 more like this and then we're going to add on. Inhale first, exhale, arms come to the ceiling for me and then bring them down. We've got 1 to go. Inhale first, exhale, arms come to the ceiling and then bring them down. Okay, we're going to go into a scissor pattern. So breathing in first, breathe out to bring those arms to the ceiling and pause. Let one arm come above your head, the other one's going to come to your side. Bring your arms back to the ceiling and change them over. So you're going to scissor your arms forwards and backwards. You haven't forgotten about your rib to hip connection. You're maintaining that gap for me. That little arch in your back is not changing size. It's staying nice and still. Arms are nice and long and they're straight. And your breath pattern is matching your movement. You're inhaling and you're exhaling as you change them over. We're going to do one more in each direction. Inhale, exhale, change those arms through the center. You're nice and stable on your roller. And last one for me. When both of your arms get back to the ceiling, you're going to pause and you're going to lower your arms down by your side. Then what you're going to do is gently and carefully roll to one side. You're going to roll, push your foam roller out from underneath you. You're going to roll yourself down onto the mat. Just shove the roller out the way and lie flat on your back. Once you're down, you're just going to recheck your alignment for me. You're going to make sure that the lower part of your body is in alignment, knees, hip bones and toes. And you're going to check that your head, neck and shoulder alignment is good. Then you're going to turn your palms up for me. Now, if palms up bothers you, feel free to turn them down. Palms up just gives you that nice broad opening across your chest. We're going to warm your lower backs up with some pelvic tilts. So you're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to roll your pelvis backwards and allow your spine to flatten into the mat. Then you're going to roll your pelvis forwards, and you'll feel your back arching right up off of the mat. As you roll backwards, you're exhaling, your spine flattens. As you're rolling forwards, you're inhaling, and your back arches. So you're going to move like that in your own time, gently backwards and forwards. As you're doing your little pelvic tilts, those knees of yours are relatively still. Try not to let them wobble around too much. Your head is going to move. Your chin will pop in towards your chest. Your chin will go up towards the ceiling. Let that happen, but try not to let your knees sway from side to side. One more each way. Roll backwards, allow the spine to flatten into the mat. Roll the pelvis forwards at the back arch, and then rest in neutral. Moving from your wrists as opposed to your shoulders, swivel your palms down. So your palms down, but you've still got your broad shoulder fitting. Stand firmly in your feet. So you have even weight distribution across your foot, your big toe to your little toe, and right through your heel. Your arms are gently engaged into your mat. They're not jammed in, it's a gentle engagement. We're going to bridging. You're going to take a breath in, you're going to breathe out to tip your pelvis backwards, your spine will flatten, and then you're going to slowly articulate and lift your spine up off of the mat into a nice long strong bridge. You're going to pause there, you're going to take a breath in, and you're going to breathe out to slowly articulate down, one vertebrae at a time, and that pelvis is going to roll through neutral. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, spine imprints, and then come up into that nice long bridge. Stand firmly in those feet of yours. Take a breath in at the top and slowly down. Keep breathing out all the way. Nice long breath, and pelvis rolls through neutral. So you're going to bridge in your own time. As you're bridging up and down, knees are staying in line with second toe. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, and you're getting that nice opening through the front of your hips. And then slowly articulate down. Try and lengthen your spine as you come all the way down and allow your pelvis to roll. On the next one, I want you to count the segments in your back as you peel up. How many can you feel? Can you feel 2? Can you feel 3? Maybe you can feel 4, or maybe you can even feel 5. And as you peel them down, count those segments. How many segments, how many bits of your spine can you feel? You're trying to move each vertebrae. Let's do 2 more. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, spine imprints. Lift each of those sections of your back up off of the mat. Remember, those knees are still. Pause at the top. Take a breath in, and down you come. Use that breath to help you articulate all the way down. Pelvis rolls through neutral. You've got 1 more for me. Inhale first, gentle tilt back. That spine imprints. Come up into that nice long strong bridge. Pause at the top, and then down you go. Breathe out all the way. Feel each segment coming down, and pelvis rolls. Okay, rest at the bottom, wriggle your knees and feet together to touch. So you've been moving your pelvis forwards and backwards. You know what that feels like. Now we want to keep it still. You could put your hands on top of your hips to feel what's happening. You could have one hand on top of your hips and slide the other hand underneath your lumbar spine to feel what's happening. You don't need to. If you've chosen one of those hand positions, if your hands are on top of your hips, you should feel no movement through the front of your pelvis. If your fingertips are tucked underneath your lumbar spine, you should feel no pressure being pushed onto your fingers. That arch of yours is just nice and relaxed. We're going to lead this with our left leg. We're going to take a breath in, we're going to breathe out to let our left leg go out towards the side. Our right leg is not moving. And then you're going to pull that leg back to the center. You're going to change sides. Right leg goes out towards the side and then pull it back in. Okay, you're going to alternate sides in your own time. As you take that leg out towards the side, the other leg is not moving. You want to keep it nice and still. If it's moving, your pelvis has got a bit of a wobble in it. And left to right might well be different. They may not be the same. The movement is smooth. So smoothly the leg goes out and smoothly the leg comes back in. There's no tension in your head, neck and shoulders, just let it flow. Exhaling as the leg goes out and inhale to draw it back in. You're going to do one more. I want you to make sure that you're finished on your right leg. That will make sure that you are even. When you're back in the middle, pause. If you've had your hands on your hips or your pelvis, bring them down by your side, but remember that feeling of stability through your pelvis. I want you to work on it for the next exercise. Wriggle your knees and feet apart, so they're back into hip width. Keep your right leg down on the mat in a bent position. Bring your left leg up to tabletop. Stretch your left leg out long and straight for me, and I want you to flex your foot. So I want you to pull your toes to your nose. Then I want you to draw some circles with your heel. Nice round circles if you can. Your opposite leg's not moving, so that right leg is nice and still. By pulling your toes towards your nose, it helps you engage the muscles in the back of your legs. Sometimes this exercise can be really hip flexor or quad dominant. Reverse the direction of your circles. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, no tension up there. Keep your breathing going. Keep that length through the back of your leg and your heel. Shoulders are nice and relaxed, body's not moving, pelvis is still. You've got one more circle. Pause, bend the knee, return the foot to the mat. Right leg comes up to 90 degrees. Stretch it out long and straight, then flex that foot by pulling your toes towards your nose and into your circles for me. So there should be no movement through your pelvis. Core is switched on, pelvis is still. Your circle does not need to be big. Your left knee is not moving. It is nice and stable and still. Reverse the direction. Keep the length in the leg. Keep the torso nice and still. Keep the head, neck and shoulders nice and relaxed, and make sure your circle is as round as you possibly can. We're going to do 2 more circles. Pause, bend your knee and place your foot back down to the ground. Bring your left leg back up to the ceiling. Interlace your hands behind your leg and pull your leg into your chest. So a little hamstring stretch here. Your leg can be straight if you can, but if it bothers your knee at all, you're going to bend it slightly. If your leg's not straight, that's okay. Just make sure you're feeling a nice stretch to the back of your thigh. We're going to stay here and we're going to pull our toes to our nose and point our toes to the ceiling. If this movement of the foot bothers you, you're going to leave it out. Otherwise, toes to nose, toes to ceiling. So just flexing and pointing, and flexing and pointing. Okay, relax the foot, place the foot back to the mat. Change sides. Opposite leg comes up, interlace hands, pull the leg in towards your chest. Again, if it's bothering this knee, soften the knee slightly, otherwise you've got a nice stretch to the back of the thigh. Okay, let's add the neural. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. So just flexing and pointing. If it bothers you on this side, I want you to leave it out. Nothing is ever compulsory. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Okay, 2 more each way. The last one. And then return your foot back to the mat. Keep those feet hip width distance apart for me. Take your hands and interlace them behind your head. So ring finger, little finger on the base of your skull, elbows nice and wide, like you're trying to touch them across the room. Nice, keeping them nice and wide for me as we go through this exercise. Tummy muscles are switched on. Feet are firm on your mat. Take a breath in and breathe out to lift your head, neck and shoulders up for me, and look down to the middle of your thighs for me, and then lower yourself all the way down. So you're breathing in first, you're breathing out to lift, you're taking your gaze to the middle of your thighs, and then you're lowering yourself down. As you come up into your chest lifts, you're keeping those elbows of yours nice and wide for me, and then lowering all the way down. As you come up and down, you feel your spine go from neutral to an imprint when you're up there, and then lower yourself all the way down. We've got 3 to go. Inhale first, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift. Gaze to the middle of those thighs, and then lower yourself all the way down. Keep the elbows wide, going again. Breathe out to come up, and then lower down. And last one for me, inhale, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift, and lower yourself down. Pause there for a second. We're going to do 4 more. If you want, you're going to come with me and put your legs in tabletop. If you prefer to have your legs down, feel free to have your legs down. Otherwise, float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it there. Take a breath in, bring your second leg up to join it. Inhale first, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift. Gaze to those thighs, wide elbows. Lower yourself all the way down. We're going again. Inhale first, breathe out as you come up. Lower yourself all the way down. You've got 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift and lower down. And last one, inhale first, exhale, up you come. Lower yourself all the way down. Lower one leg down to rest and lower your other leg down to rest. Keeping your hands behind your head, we're going to roll into crisscross. With crisscross today, I want you to think about the elbow that's going backwards. I'll cue you through that when we get up there. Okay, so first of all, float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it there. Take a breath in, second leg joins it. Inhale first, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift. So you should be looking down the middle of your thighs here. Stretch one leg out nice and long, bring the opposite elbow towards the knee, and then inhale, exhale, change them over. So that backwards elbow, open it up nice and wide. As you bring your elbow towards your knee, you're trying to get them to touch. If you can't get them to touch, it does not matter. Just bring them as close as you can. You're stretching that opposite leg out nice and long and straight, like you're trying to touch your toes on the opposite side of the room. You're breathing, inhaling and exhaling as you change them over. We're going to do 2 more. 1 more on each side. Okay, last one here. When you get back to the center, you're going to pause. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to lower your head, neck and shoulders down. You're going to hug your knees into your chest. And you're going to do a little roll around of the mat. And you're going to massage your back. Little turn of the head while you're here as well. Turn your head from left to right for me, or right to left, doesn't matter. Just turn your head from side to side. Okay, roll the other way. So often we tend to roll one way. I want you to roll both for me. And then bring your feet back down onto your mat. Take your hands, lift your hips, and slide your hands underneath your hips. So it's now like you're sitting on top of your hands. Shoulders are nice and broad here. Float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it. Take a breath in, bring the second leg to join it. Both legs straight up to the ceiling, tuck your legs together. Now, breathe in, breathe out, lift head, neck and shoulders up. So again, you're looking down between your thighs. Left leg first. Lower it down towards the ground. Keep the spine in neutral, keep your spine imprinted, and then bring it back up. Change legs, lower down, spine stays imprinted, bring it back up. Point your toes, lengthen through your leg. It's going to help you open up through the front of the hip. You're lowering the leg down, you're bringing it back up, you're keeping your gaze down between your thighs, and your breath is matching your movement. Exhaling down, inhale up, keep the gaze down between the thighs. It's going to keep your head, neck and shoulders up. You've got 1 more on each side. Have a little rest if you want to have a rest. Last one here. When you get to the top, pause. Lower your head, neck and shoulders down. Bend your knees. Place your feet down on the mat. Lift your hips. Take your arms right over the top of your head. Slide your legs out long and point your toes away from you. If you were in my classes in the last couple of years where we pulled your toes, imagine I'm pulling your toes. COVID brought a very fast end to that. Otherwise, point your toes and imagine I am pulling them. You've got 1 more breath. Now you're going to float your arms to the ceiling. You're going to bring them all the way down, and you're going to gently rest them down by your side. Then you're going to roll onto your side. We're going to roll over. We're going to cradle our head in on our arm. Knees are going to be bent. So head's resting in on your arm. Arm could be straight, arm could be bent. If you prefer, you could have a pillow. That's perfectly fine. Otherwise, just head resting in on your bicep. Knees are bent, feet are tucked back in line with your hips. We're going to start with some little clams. First thing you're going to do is put your hand on top of your hip and push your hip away. So you've created a space within your waistline. You could literally slide your hand under there, or you feel a little arch within your waistline. Keeping that arch, your hand can stay on your hip or it can come onto the mat. You can choose. Feet stay touching. Lift the top knee up off of the bottom knee for me, and then lower it down. As you lift your top knee, inhale. As you lower, exhale. As you lift and lower that knee, your hips are still. So if you feel your hips tipping backwards, I don't want you to open them so far. Work within the range that you're able to control the stability in your pelvis. That waistline of yours is still lifted up off of the mat. You can still feel that little gap. If you feel it's dropped down, then re-push the hand away, reset the hip up. Let your breath help you. Inhaling to lift, exhale to lower. Okay, let's do 2 more. Open and close. And last one. Pause at the bottom. Stretch the top leg out long and straight for me. Keep the heel and the hip in line with each other and just rest the foot on the ground for the moment. Hand can be on your hip or it can come onto the mat in front. You can choose, either's fine, but I still want you to keep that little gap in your waistline. Lift your leg up to hip height to begin with and flex your foot so your toes pull towards your nose. You're going to lift your leg up about 20 centimetres and then you're going to lower it down. Might be 30 centimetres, but what I want you to be able to do is maintain that little gap within your waistline. So try not to let your hips drop. Hand on your hip can help keep you pushed away. It gives you a bit of feedback. Your hand can be on the mat for stability if you like. It's entirely up to you. But you're not lifting that leg so high that you feel your waistline dropping back down into the mat. Nice long breaths to match your movement. We've got 3 to go. Lift and lower, nice and controlled. Lift and lower. And one more. Lower the leg down and let it rest. Bring your hand down in front of you for some stability. I want your hand on the mat. Stretch both legs out long and straight and bring your legs just slightly forwards. We're talking about 5 to 10 centimetres. You have some weight in your hand, but not your whole body weight. We're going to do some hip openers in a minute. Turn your top leg so your knee rotates to the ceiling. Take your toes from your ankle to your knee. Kick your leg up nice and high and then flex your foot as you bring your leg down. So you go ankle to knee, kick up, flex the foot as you bring it down. So just let that flow for me. Slide the leg up, kick the leg high and really lengthen the leg as you bring it down. And let your breath help you. Inhaling and exhaling, just let it flow. You're trying to open up through that hip joint. Kick that leg high, flex the foot as you bring it down. You've got 2 to go. Ankle to knee, kick up and down. And one more. Ankle to knee, kick up and lower it all the way down. Okay, we're going to roll over. You can flip yourself to the opposite side, otherwise you're going to roll yourself over with me. I'm just going to grab a sip of water. You're going to come down into your clam position. So you're going to rest your head in on your arm again. And chin's up off of your chest, so you'll find your head will land on your bicep then. Feet are tucked back roughly in line with your hips for me. Hand starts on your hip. Push your hip away and create that little space. Keeping your feet touching, lift your top knee up off of your bottom knee and then lower it down. As you open and close that knee, your hip is still. So you're not opening too far that you feel that hip tipping backwards. Breaths matching your movement, inhaling and exhaling. If you feel your hip tipping backwards, you can change the range. You're not going to go so far. Nice and controlled through the rest of the body. So nothing else is moving. Your hand could be on the mat in front of you if you prefer. That's perfectly fine. You've got 3 to go. Little lift and lower. Nice and controlled. And last one. Lift and lower. Okay. Stretch the top leg out long and straight for me and flex the foot. Keeping the foot and so the hip and the heel in line with the hip. Bring the foot up to hip height. Lift the leg up about 20 or 30 centimetres and then lower it down. So we're not going too high. Gentle lift and lower. Nice long breaths. Float the leg up, keep the heel in line with the hip and bring it down. If your hip flexors are a bit tight, you might feel that leg wanting to creep forwards. I want you to keep that nice straight line all the way down through your body. Keeping those toes pulled towards your nose will help you engage all the way through the back of your legs. Okay, let's do 2 more. Gentle lift and lower, and last one, and then pause. Stretch both legs out long and straight and bring your feet just slightly forwards. Hand's going to come down onto the mat to give you some stability. Not too much body weight into that hand, but just a little bit. Top leg, knee rotates to turn to the ceiling. Take your toes from your ankle to your knee, kick your leg nice and high and flex the foot as you bring it down. Let that slide, ankle to knee, kick up, flex on the way down. Let it flow, ankle to knee, kick high, flex the foot as you bring it down. So you're opening up that hip joint. Ankle to knee, kick up and then lower the leg down. Think of the length in the leg, nice and high, and then lengthen that leg as you lower your heel right across the opposite ankle if you can. Keep your breathing going. We're going to do 2 more. Ankle to knee, kick up and lower the leg down. And last one, ankle to knee, kick up and lower it down. We're going to roll onto our stomachs and we're going to do some pre-swimming and some swimming. If your shoulders are grumpy, you could just do one arm or the other arm. You don't need to do both when we get there. You can have one arm down by your side. You can just leave the arm bit out and just work with your legs as well if you like. Otherwise, flip yourself onto your stomach for me. And we want arms out nice and long. And you've got a couple of choices here. Your hands can be directly by your ears, or if you prefer, they can be a little bit wider. So like a bit of a V shape. Just depends on your shoulders. I do want your shoulders to be down and away from your ears. Your head, just bring your head down towards the mat. Now, your head could be resting on the mat, or it could be hovering, and then either is fine. Core is switched on, so you feel like your belly button is just gently lifted up off of the mat. We're going to start with your left arm. You're going to take a breath in and breathe out to lift your left arm off of the mat for me, and then lower it down. You can change to your right, lift your right arm up and lower it down. So you can alternate sides. As you lift your arms, you're not moving your body. So don't lift too high. Focus on length. Lengthen those arms out as long as you can. Torso still, so as you lift your arms, you're not wobbling around. Breathing out as you lift. You've got one more on each side. Float your arm up, lower it down. Last one, and then pause. Keep your hands on the mat. We're going to work with your legs. With your legs, we want your hip bones to stay on the mat, so you're not lifting too high. Again, focus on length. Left leg first, inhale first, exhale, lift that left leg up, make it nice and long for me, and then lower it down. You're going to change sides, float the opposite leg up, make nice and long for me, and then lower it down. As you lift those legs up, you are lengthening through your toes, you're pointing your toes away from you. Your hip bones are staying connected to the mat, so you're not lifting too high. Let your breath match your movement. Last one, make sure you finish on your right, and then lower them down. Just rest for a second. We're going to do 4 opposite arm and leg, and then we're going to go into the full swimming. At any point you can drop it back. You could just do your legs, you could just do your arms, or you can stick with me and come through the full swimming. Anything is fine. Okay, let's go opposite arm and leg. Take a breath in. Breathe out to lift your opposite leg up for me, an arm, and then lower them down, changing sides. Inhale first. Exhale, up you come, and lower them down. Remember your torso still. Change sides again. Breathe out as you lift, and lower. And last one. And lower down. Okay, we'll do 2 with both arms and legs at the same time, and your head lifting, and then we'll go into full swim. So inhale first. As you exhale, lift head, lift arms, lift legs, make yourself really long, and then lower all the way down. One more like that. Inhale first. Exhale, up you come, and then lower down. Okay, we're going to swim in. Breathe in, breathe out to come up, and then swim. So you're kicking your arms and legs like you're swimming in a pool. You might just be working on your legs. That's perfectly fine. Nice long body swimming. You don't want this to go in your lower back. Pause there. And then lower everything all the way down. Make sure you keep your breathing going if you're swimming. Gonna go again. Inhale first. Exhale, up you come, and swim. Kick your arms and legs. Torso's nice and stable. Nice long breaths. Rest of the body's nice and still. Pause. Lower down. We're going to do one more set. Feel free to rest. Inhale first. Exhale, up you come, and away you go. Swim. Keep the length in those limbs for me. Keep the body stable. Keep the breath pattern going. Pause and lower down. Let's go into child's pose for a little stretch. So take your bottom back towards your heels for me. Arms in front if you can. If you prefer them down by your side, that's perfectly fine. You're going to just sink your hips back towards your heels. Whilst you're there, you're going to breathe into the back of your rib cage. So nice big deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Feel that opening through the back of your ribs. Sinking those hips back towards your heels. One more breath. Then you're going to bring yourself forwards. You're going to come back down. You're going to rest your head on your hands. So I want you to have one hand on top of the other. You're going to rest your head down on your hands. We're going to do some heel beats. So head comes down on hands, legs nice and long, shoulders are drawn away from ears. Abdominals are still engaged, so you feel that lift of your belly button up off of the mat. You're going to take a breath in for me. You're going to breathe out to lift your legs. You're going to turn your toes out, your heels come together, and you're going to start to tap, 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 tap. So nice, strong heel beats, keeping your body as still as possible. Keep your breathing going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause and lower them all the way down. Folks, we're going to do another set. Tummy muscles are switched on. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift those heels, turn those heels in towards each other, legs are lifted, and tap, 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 tap. So nice and controlled, body stable, strong, heel beats the knee, keep your breathing going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause, and lower them all the way down. We're going to do one more set. Rest for a moment for a second. Draw your shoulders away from the ears, lift the belly button up of the mat, take a breath in and breathe out to bring your legs up. Turn your heels in towards each other and away you go. Tap, 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 tap. Nice and controlled. Keep your breathing going, body stable as you can, but your heel beats there, nice and strong. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause, and lower down. Wriggle yourself up onto your elbows. So one hand on top of the other, little Princess Mary pose, so you're looking out in front of you. Little lift through your hips if you can, so you've gone from your hips touching the mat to a little lift. Cores engaged, it will need to be to do that little lift. Bend one knee, bring your foot to your bottom, pulse it twice for me, lengthen the leg long and lower it down. Change sides, bend knee, foot to bottom, pulse twice, lengthen long and lower. Alternate sides. Little lift of the knee. So as your foot comes to your bottom, your knee should be off of the mat. As you lengthen your leg long, your knee should be off of the mat. Your gaze, now that is out in front of you if you can. That's going to keep your head in line with your spine. Breath is matching your movement. One more on each side, foot to bottom, pulse twice, lengthen long and lower, and last one, and lower them down. Let's come up into some little cat stretches. So your hands could be on the mat, you could be on your knuckles. That is perfectly fine. Either is fine. Do set up your alignment though. So we want hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, even when we do your cat stretches. So then you're going to drop your head down between your arms and you're going to arch your back right up towards the ceiling and open up through your spine. Your tailbone's going to tuck. Your tummy comes down to the mat and your gaze goes across the room as you take your spine the other way. And then change. Head drops down between your arms, arch your back right up towards the ceiling and open up through that spine of yours. And then allow your tummy to come down to the mat and the gaze to go across the room in front of you. Two more each way. Head drops down, arch your back right up towards the ceiling and open up through that spine for me. Come to the other way, tummy comes down, tailbone sticks out, gaze across the room. Last one each way. Head drops down between your arms, arch your back right up towards the ceiling and open up through that spine. And then last one, tummy comes down, gaze across the room, and then pause in neutral. We're going to move straight into quadruped. Check your alignment if you need to. Move your wrist a little bit if you want to. Go into your knuckles, everything is fine. You're looking at about a hand pace and a half in front of you. You're going to move your arms first. You're going to slide your fingertips along the mat. You're going to lift them out in front of you without your shoulders moving. And then you're going to bring them back down. You're going to change side. Hand slides out and lifts and bring it down. So as you do this, you don't want any movement through your shoulders. Part of how far high you lift your arm up is going to be dictated by what's happening through your shoulders. So if you lift too high, your shoulders are going to move. And left to right may well be different. Let's do one more. Slide the arm out, lift it up, and bring it down. Okay. Imagine on your hips is a cup of coffee. You're going to keep that coffee still. You're going to choose your first set of toes. You're going to slide them along the mat. You're going to lift that leg up. You're going to keep your hips still. You're going to put your foot to the ground and you're going to glide that leg underneath. You're going to change sides. Slide your toes out, lift your leg up, make it long, and then bring it down. You're going to alternate sides. When your knees come back to the mat, you've still got that little gap between your knees. You're not rushing to bring your leg back to your mat. If you rush, you're going to spill your imaginary cup of coffee. I want you to maintain that stability as you bring your legs back down. One more on each side. Slide the leg out, lift it up, make it long, and then bring it down. You've got one more on the other side. Inhale first, exhale out you go, and bring it down. Okay, I'm going opposite arm and leg now. Inhale first, exhale, opposite arm and leg, glide out, lift them up for me, put them back to the mat, and glide them underneath. Change sides, opposite arm and leg, glide out, lift up, back to the mat and underneath. Keep that gap between your knees, let your breath help you, breathing out, keep that cup of coffee nice and stable and still. Focus on length as opposed to height for me, team. Okay, got one more each side. Glide opposite arm and leg out with control, keep that control as you bring them down. Last one here, opposite arm and leg go out, lift them up and down. Okay, we're going to go into a little glute stretch. So wriggle yourself forwards or to the end of your mat if you're not already there. Let's go left first. Both of your feet to the left. Pick up your left foot, put it in the middle of the mat. Slide it down, come down onto your forearms. Once you're down there, you can wriggle that foot back a bit further. If you want more oomph out of it, you can bring your inside foot a bit further. Down onto your forearms, relax into it, breathe. You should feel that stretch. Nice stretch to the front of your hip, to the side of your hip. Your right hip should be stretching here. Breathe into it, nice big deep breath. Okay, 2 more big deep breath in. Exhale out. 1 more big deep breath in. And out. Let's put you back on all fours. We're going to change sides. So both legs to the right. Pick the right leg up, put it in the middle of the mat. Down you go. Onto your forearm. Wriggle that foot back. Get yourself into that nice big deep stretch. Hold there for a few moments. Sink yourself into it. And breathe. Nice big deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. 1 more breath pattern for me. Big deep breath in. And out. Okay, slowly bring yourself up to sitting. Swing your feet around in front of you. We're going to do some spine stretches. So wriggle forwards to where is comfortable on your mat or backwards, whichever you need. Legs are out nice and long, sitting up nice and tall. If you prefer, you could have your knees bent. If you prefer, you could actually stick a little pillow underneath your butt to elevate you a little bit. If your hamstrings feel a little bit tight, that will help. Sitting up tall. Go back, take your brain back to your cat stretches and how you curved your spine. That's the kind of thing I am looking for here. The one thing I want you to do though is keep your sit bones on the mat. So if you think about your sit bones, the bones that you are meant to sit on, you want to keep them on the mat. So when you curl forwards, you don't want to let them lift. I'll cue you through that in a minute. Hands down by your side, sitting up nice and tall, palms facing to the ceiling. You're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to bring your chin to your chest and you're going to round your spine backwards. You're going to slide your hands along your mat. You're going to bring your chin down towards your knees. You're going to take a breath in there. You're going to breathe out to slide your hands back along the mat. And you kind of come back up and sit up in that perfect posture. Inhale first. Tuck the chin to the chest. Round through the spine. Breathe out as you curl yourself forwards. Pause there. Slowly come back up. Stack your spine up. Come and sit up nice and tall. Drop your shoulders well away from your ears. So have those shoulders broad and wide here and try and keep them as you do this. Chin to chest. Round through spine. Broad shoulders. Keep them wide as you curl forwards. Keep your sit bones on the mat. Come back up and sit up nice and tall. We're going to do 2 more. And the last one, we're going to stay down there. So breath in, tuck the chin to the chest, round the spine backwards, breathe out as you curl yourself forwards. Then come all the way back up, and the last one we're going to hang out there. Inhale first, tuck the chin to the chest, scoot the belly, breathe out as you curl forwards, come as far forwards as you can. Hold on to your calves. Maybe you can reach your ankles. Maybe you're able to reach the bottom of your feet. Now this is where your sit bones can lift. You might feel your butts lifted up off of the mat a little bit. Hold there and stretch yourself out for me. Couple of breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. Then carefully let go of whatever it is you're holding on to. Come back up to the top and sit up nice and tall and just rest. You can feel a little bit dizzy and lightheaded. We're going to go into twist. You've got some options for twist with your arms. You can have your hands on your shoulders like this. You can have your hands across your chest like this. Or I'm going to go with arms out to the side today. You could choose and you can play around with them. If you start with your arms out and it doesn't feel comfortable, prove to put them across your chest. Your feet, I want you to flex them. So pull your toes towards your nose. It's going to help you engage the back of your legs and keep your hips nice and still. Sit up tall and take your arms directly out towards the side. Fingertips in line with shoulders, so not too far forwards. Sit tall, find a spot for your eyes on the wall and imagine you've drawn an imaginary line around that room, around your room at that height. Let's go to the left first. Take a breath in, breathe out, twist yourself around towards the left, feet are still. Come back through the centre. Twist yourself towards the right, feet are still. Back through the centre. Follow your imaginary line with your eyes. Exhale as you twist. Come back through the centre and over to the other side. So you're going to alternate sides. As you're moving, your feet are not. You can gently push down on the foot that you're twisting towards. That will help you to keep the stability through your hips. Your arms are long. If you've got them stretched out, you're trying to reach your fingertips to the opposite sides of the room, and you have a nice big gap between your ribs and your waistline. Folks, you're going to do one more in each direction. Inhale, exhale, twist yourself around. Nice long arms through the centre. Last one to the other side. When you're back into the middle, pause, lower your arms down, give your shoulders a roll. Rolling in both directions. I'm just going to have another sip of water. Okay, wriggle yourself forward so your feet are further down the end of the mat. Maybe line, if you've got a mat, line your toes up with the edge of your mat. Knees are bent, and there's about 60 centimetres or a little bit more between your heels and your hips. We're going to do some half roll downs. So we don't want your knees too close to you, okay? Knees and feet are touching. Let them touch. Hands are just resting on the outside of your knees, but you're not hanging on for dear life. You're sitting up tall. You're going to lead with the pelvic tilt. So I want you to bring your chin to your chest and tip your pelvis backwards, and then just roll back part way. Pause there. Breathe in, and then breathe out to come back up. I want you to have engagement through your legs. So feel like your legs are touching and glued together. Keep that little engagement, chin to chest, roll yourself backwards. It should help you take it out of your hip flexors a little bit. Pause there. And then roll back up. So you can go a little bit deeper if you want, but remember you've got to be able to get back up. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Gaze follows, look down towards your pelvis. Pause there, breathe in, breathe out to come back up. Feet, try not to let them move, folks. If your feet are moving, you're getting down there because your legs are moving. I want you to keep your feet as still as you can. Yes, it's hard. One to go. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Pause, and then slowly come back up. Rest for a second. Okay, we're going to do 5 more. You can stick with 5 more part roll downs, or you can come with me and do 5 full roll downs. You can choose. If you're going for the full roll downs, that's what I'll be cueing. So if you're going for the part roll downs, you're just breathing out for 1 breath on the way up. If you're doing full, so you'll come with me and do 2. So arms are out nice and long. Sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. We're all going to breathe out to roll all the way down. If you're doing halves, you're going to go on your own for a moment. If you're doing fulls, you're coming with me. Arms go right over the top of your head. Legs are glued together. Pause here. Breathe in, breathe out to float your arms to the ceiling. Inhale here. Exhale again. Roll yourself up. Peel your spine up. Come and sit up nice and tall. We're going to go again. Inhale first. Tuck the chin to the chest. So you should be looking to your thighs. Down with each vertebrae, one at a time. Arms going right over the top of your head. First breath brings the arms to the ceiling. Once they're there, you're going to inhale again. Let it flow. Exhale. Roll yourself up. Breathe out as you come back up. Half roll backs are fine, or just have a rest. Otherwise, you're coming with me again. Tuck the chin to the chest. Look to those thighs. Peel yourself down. Arms going right over the top of your head. 2 breaths to come up. Float those arms to the ceiling. Take another breath in. Breathe out. Roll yourself up. Sit up nice and tall. I think we've got 1 left. Tuck the chin to the chest. Down you go. Pilates instructors and probably PTs can never count, especially in hundreds. Last one to come back up. Arms to the ceiling. Head, neck and shoulders lift. Breathe out. Sit up nice and tall and just rest for a second. Okay, we're going to roll down 1 more time. We're all going to do 1 full roll down. When we get down there, we're going to go into book openings. So legs are out nice and long and straight for me. Arms are sitting on the horizontal sit-up tall to begin with. Start with the movement of bringing the chin to the chest and a little tilt back of the pelvis, and then slowly roll down. Go as slow as you can. Breathe out all the way down. Arms are going to go right over the top of your head. Then you're going to circle your arms around and you're going to bring them down by your side. Okay, let's do some book openings. So flip yourself over, roll onto your side for me. Cradle your head in on your arm. You can have a pillow. Your arm could be bent. It could be straight. I don't mind as long as your head is resting and you're not trying to hold your head up. Knees and feet are touching and your feet are roughly back in line with your hips. So you don't want those knees of yours too far forwards. Hand, top arm, bring it out on the floor in front of you. Hands in line with your shoulders, so not too high, not too low. Knees are glued together. Abdominals are switched on. Hips are going to stay still. We're moving from here up. First two to the ceiling. Take a breath in, breathe out to bring your arm to the ceiling. Let your gaze follow your hand. And then bring your hand back down to the floor. Inhale first, exhale, arm comes to the ceiling, gaze follows your hand. And bring your hand back down to the floor. Okay, we're going to rotation. Inhale first, arm comes to the ceiling, knees are squeezed together. You're rotating further back. Try not to let those hips move. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling. And bring it all the way back to the floor. We're going to go again. Inhale first, exhale. Breathe out. Arm goes to the ceiling. Move into your rotation. Knees are glued together. Arm is nice and long. Lengthen that arm to the ceiling. And bring it all the way back to the floor. So I want you to try and focus on moving the top part of your body, but not the bottom. So your hips are still. Imagine there's a yoga block behind your hips. There's not allowed to knock that yoga block over. Lengthen the arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. Better still, imagine I put a foam roller behind your hips. Okay, let's do two more. Inhale first, exhale, arm goes to the ceiling. Not knocking that imaginary foam roller. Take the arm back, bring it back to the ceiling and all the way home. On the last one, we're going to go into that stretch. So the foam roller is now gone. Arm comes to the ceiling. Move to your rotation. Find the point you can't physically get any further, and that is where your hips can drop back. Arm's going to go a bit further to the ground. Just go to where is comfortable for your body today, and just hang there and breathe. Nice big deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. One more breath pattern. Squeeze your knees together, lengthen that long arm of yours to the ceiling and bring it all the way home. Let's change sides. Flip yourself around with me or just roll yourself over even. Cradle your head in on your arm, knees are bent, feet are tucked back, chins up off of your chest. Set yourself up first. Make sure you've got that nice little gap. We don't want you curled forwards like you're having a nap. Top arms resting on the floor in front of you and that hand of yours is in line with your shoulder. Knees are glued together. I have stuck some duct tape around your knees and they're going to stay together. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to bring your arm up to the ceiling. Your gaze is following your hand and then you're bringing your hand back down to the floor. Inhale first, exhale, arm comes to the ceiling, gaze follows the hand, and then bring the hand to the floor. Okay, we're going to rotation. Arm comes to the ceiling and then rotate further back. Your knees are squeezed together, your hips are nice and still. Lengthen that long arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. Going again, we're moving the top part of our body. Our bottom part is staying nice and still. Our hips are not moving. We're just rotating through the torso and the top part of our spine. Our arm is really long as we bring it all the way back. We're going to do two more. Inhale first, exhale, arm goes to the ceiling. Move into your rotation. Again, those hips are nice and still. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling and back to the floor. We've got one to go. We're going to hang out there on the last one. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Open the arm back. Once you found the point you can't get any further, that's where your hips can drop back so you can get that arm a little bit further towards the ground and just hang there and breathe. Should feel good, folks. Nice big deep breaths. One more breath. Okay, tummy muscles switched on. Lengthen that long arm of yours to the ceiling and bring it all the way home. Just roll onto your back for me. Flip straight onto your back. Okay. Let's stretch the left leg out long and straight. Bring your right leg up to tabletop. Put your left hand on the outside of your right knee. Put your right hand out on the floor away from your mat so you're wider than the mat. Gives you some stability. Gently pull that right knee across your body with your left hand. I want you to keep your shoulders on the mat so you're not going too far that you're feeling your shoulders lift. And you are just gently pushing your hand onto your knee to get that nice stretch through your hips. Nice big deep breaths. One more breath pattern. Okay, bring the leg back to the center, slide the leg out long and straight. Bring the left leg up to tabletop. Your left hand is now on the floor outside of the mat. Right hand comes to the knee, pull the knee across the body and stretch. With deep breaths, just sink into it. Maybe your breath facilitates movement, so breathing is going to help you stretch. Okay, bring the leg back to tabletop and hold it there. Bring your right leg up as well. Okay, so I'm going to do one assisted roll up. If you prefer to come up into if you prefer to come up to sit in a different manner, feel free. Arms are nice and long and straight. If you're coming with me, you're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to tuck your chin to your chest. You're going to gently push your feet away from you, and you're going to roll yourself up, and you're just going to sit for a momentum. We're going to make sure you don't feel dizzy or lightheaded before we come up to standing. So you're going to come up to standing nice and slowly. Once you're standing up, you're going to stand with your feet hip width distance apart. All right, so feet are hip width distance apart, standing nice and tall for me. We're going to work on a bit of balance. So if you're on your mat, maybe step onto the floor. If your mat's a bit spongy, when you do your balance, I want you to find something across your room, outside the window, wherever it is, to look at something that's not moving. So don't look through a window at a tree that's swaying, look at something that's not moving. So find your spot and keep your eyes on that spot. Arms are down by your side. I want you to think of your feet as a tripod. That tripod is your big toe, your little toe, and your heel. You are standing firmly on that tripod. You've got a little lift through the arches, and you feel your hips engage as you do a little lift through your arches. You found your spot on the wall. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to transfer your weight into one leg, and you're going to bring your opposite leg up off of the ground. And then you're going to slowly bring that leg down. You're going to transfer your weight into your second leg. Tripod, arch lift, lift the leg up off of the ground, and then lower it down. Come back to the first side, transfer the weight, lift the leg up and hold here, and breathe for me. You've got 2 breaths. And then lower the leg all the way down, over to the other side, transfer the weight, float the leg up and hold here and breathe. You've got 2 breaths. And lower it all the way down. We're going to add on. Transfer the weight, lift your leg up and hold here. Tuck your hands underneath your knees and interlace your fingers and stretch your leg out long and straight and hold here and breathe. Nice big deep breaths. Just 2, bend your knee and lower your foot to the ground. Other side, transfer and lift, hands tuck, interlace fingers, stretch the leg out long. 2 breaths here, keep your eyes on the spot on the wall. Bend in and lower down, rest for a second. Keep maintaining that tripod of balance, keep your focus on that thing of yours that's not moving. We're going to take that up to 3 breaths and then 4 breaths. If you prefer to stick with 2, that's okay. You'll meet us at the end when we get to 4. Transfer your weight into your first leg again, lift your leg up, interlace your hands underneath your thighs and stretch your leg out long and stay here with me and breathe. You've got 3 nice big deep breaths. Keep your eyes focused on that spot that you were looking at. Okay, bend your knee and return your foot to the ground. Change sides, lift the leg, interlace the hands, stretch the leg out long, focus on your spot. Big deep breath in through nose and out through mouth. Big deep breath in and out. Last one, big deep breath in and out. Bend the leg, lower it all the way down. Okay, 1 more on each side. We're going for 4 breaths. Transfer the weight, float your leg up, tuck your hands, interlace them, stretch the leg long, focus on your spot on the wall and start your breathing. You have your foot as a tripod. It's got 3 even weights of distribution. It's holding you upright. Your arch has got a little lift in it. You've got your eyes on the spot. You're going to bend your knee. And you're going to lower it to the ground. You've got 1 more on the other side. Transfer the weight. Float that leg up. Interlace those hands. Stretch that leg out long. Big deep breaths. Tripod of balance. Standing tall. Nice and relaxed through the head, neck and shoulders. Lovely. Bend your knee and lower it all the way down. Feet return back to the ground. Maybe you're on the mat. Maybe you're on the floor, but your feet are back on the ground and they are still hip width distance apart. We're standing nice and tall. We're going to roll up and down. I want you to distribute your weight 60%, 40%. So I want you to have 60% through the front of your feet and 40 through your heels. So it feels like you've got a bit of a lean on your body. A little bit of a lean, maintain that lean. Take a breath in. As you exhale, gently bring your chin to your chest and roll yourself down. Your hips and your heels should stay in one straight line. That's what that little lean helps you do. Arms are just hanging. Pause. Take a breath in. Lead from the tailbone. Tuck your tailbone under. Bring your spine up bit by bit. Those shoulders of yours are nice and relaxed. You're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to check that you're not feeling any dizziness or lightheadedness. If you are, you're staying here. Otherwise, you're coming with me again. Breath in. Tuck the chin to the chest. Down you go. I want you to exhale all the way down if you can. If you are running out of air, you're going to make sure you breathe in and breathe out again. When you get to the bottom, pause. Take your breath in, lead with your tailbone, tuck your tailbone under, scoop those abdominals and peel your spine up. You're going to come and stand nice and tall. You're dropping your shoulders away from your ears, and each one of these you're checking for lightheadedness. Otherwise, inhale first, tuck the chin to the chest, and down you go. Long breath out, arms are hanging, still with that 60-40 distribution. Pause there, breath in, tailbone tuck, scoop through the belly, slowly coming back up. We're going to do 2 more. You should be finding that on each one you get that little bit further each time. Make sure you keep your eyes open for me. That will add to any lightheadedness or dizziness. Down you go, long breath out, breathe out all the way. Arms are just hanging, gaze should be down between your legs, so you let your head hang. Pause, breath in. Slowly back up, bringing each vertebrae in your spine up one at a time. Stand nice and tall. 1 to go. Inhale, exhale. Long breath out all the way down. Arms hang. Right down to the bottom. Notice how far you've got on this 5th one. Pause there. Take a breath in, tailbone tuck, scoop through the belly and slowly come back up. Stand tall and rest for a second. I'm going to come into a little stretch. I'm going to cue you to come onto your tippy toes. If you know that standing on your tippy toes today is not good for you, you're going to keep your feet flat. So standing nice and tall, let's just do a few little heel raises. We're just going to do 2. Gently up onto your tippy toes. Oh, crack on my toes. And slowly lower those heels down. Let's do it again. Gently up onto your tippy toes. And slowly lower. Okay, we're going to add the arms. Inhale first, exhale. Arms to the side. Bring them right up towards the ceiling. Try and touch the ceiling. Turn your palms down. Bring your hands down like you're pushing them down through water as you return your heels to the ground. Inhale first, exhale. Onto those tippy toes. Arms float out to the side. Take them right up towards the ceiling. Turn those palms down, lengthen through those fingertips and return your heels to the ground as slowly as you can. You've got 1 to go. Inhale first, exhale. Right to the ceiling, nice and tall. Really long arms, really strong arms, like you're pushing them through water as you bring them all the way down. You're just going to relax. You're going to roll your shoulders, roll them in a couple of directions, once or twice each way. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that class. Feel free to always drop me a line and send me any questions that you may have or any ideas that you may have. Again, you're free to do this class as many times as you like in the next 7 days. If you have any concerns, let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the class and I'll see you all soon. Bye now.